a cup of coffee, sit back and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life features stories to inspire and motivate you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. Visit cyacyl.com.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. What if I told you that you have the power to attract riches easily? Would you believe me? Today's guest, Asara Lovejoy, author of the book The One Command, 6 Steps to Attract Wealth with the Power of Your Mind, says that we're hardwired to be wealthy and that by accessing our rich brains, we can move past the law of attraction to the law of creation. Asara is here today to teach us how to stop negative thoughts, remove any limits to becoming wealthy, and to reboot our mind for greater success and overall well-being. She's the founder of the One Command Global Corporation, and she's touched millions of lives with her radio career and by her work as a speaker and trainer. Welcome, Asara. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, Joan, it's such a privilege to be able to be on your radio show, Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, and I look forward to spending time with you.
Asara, your work, I find it extremely interesting, using our brain power to attract riches. You really came about this. Your journey was probably something that you never would have expected from an early start in your life. You really got off to a rough start, and you went from being down and out to achieving tremendous success. How did you accomplish this? Was it from tapping into what we're about to discuss?
You know, I learned early on that we have this power to be in different states of our own biology. So my message is that each and every one of us is already designed with a greatness to achieve our hopes, wishes, dreams, and desires. And that we really, when we're growing up, we're getting the advice about life. We're getting it from an old paradigm of work hard, effort a lot, then the world will maybe, if you're lucky, open the doors to your success. And people are suffering. They have their dreams that they suppress or give up along the way, and they say, okay, well, we'll just make do and do the best that we can. And then we have this economy that shifted so dramatically that pulled out the rug from all of the folks that were living life that way in any event. You know, they were the ones that were working hard and put in the effort and had been getting good results, and they even had that rug pulled out from underneath them. So there was this moment when I understood that there was really 2 ways of approaching life. One was from the outside training and the outside rules and the outside programming that we hear and accept because we're children. We accept what we're trained to know as a child. But even as a child, each and every one of us has also held on to something more precious. And every person has this kernel of ultimate truth within them that is not hurt or harmed even by the worst circumstances in life. And I've heard many, many difficult stories of abuse and physical mistreatment and pain and suffering from children that grew up in the worst of circumstances. And I've heard from people that grew up in great circumstances with wealthy parents. And all of them, every one of them, has this same longing for more love in their life, for better happiness, joy, and satisfaction, and for greater peace of mind. And right now, we're also coming into a time of this change and transition of 2012, of the 5,000-year transition of consciousness that we're all going through. And what does that mean? Well, to me, the door opened finally when I hit my own dark night of the soul, because I had educated myself and done a lot of training in brainwave function and how we shift from beta, which is ordinary consciousness, into alpha, theta, and delta, which is extraordinary consciousness. And in that moment of this dark night of the soul, I literally went into this place of mind that I had studied for years, but, you know, we weren't ready to understand our own power. I wasn't ready to understand my own power. I wasn't ready to understand the power each individual had. But I did at that crisis. At that crisis, there was no door open for me. I was going to lose everything that I had, lose my home, completely hit bottom financially. And I was like, I'm too old for this. I can't do this again.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this suffering piece one more time. Have it all, lose it all, work hard, have your efforts taken away. And that was my pattern of my life, to be successful and then to lose my success. And many people have that pattern out here in our society, in some in really extreme circumstances of being millionaires and going broke, and others in small circumstances of getting a pay raise and then having a flat tire. The increase in their income gets taken away immediately by a chaotic circumstance in their life. So what is the answer? How can we change this? And how can we empower ourselves to be in another state of awareness of our own greatness, of our own great talents, gifts, and abilities? And what I discovered is that you can shift your brain pattern consciously while awake, easily and effortlessly in 6 steps. And what are the benefits of that? Well, the benefits of it are that, first of all, you relax, you release stress in your nervous system. It's the place where we heal and have spontaneous healing, and it's the place in which we are able to talk directly to our own subconscious mind. But the science is in on our ability to affect a biological, neurological change with a thought. Now, the secret and the law of attraction still has this idea that there's something outside of us that you have to create to attract it to you. That there's some nice money out there waiting for you, or there's a nice loving relationship waiting for you. And that if you are positive and you think positively and you think in a positive way, you're going to attract that to you. The one command in working in the theta brainwave, which technically is your sleep state. So theta state is a very low, slow brainwave that we go into 3 times a night in rapid eye movement. And what do we do in our sleep? When we go into that rapid eye movement, we discharge all of our feelings of anxiety and stress while we're sleeping at night, and our body completely relaxes. The muscles of the body completely relax. I mean, completely. Like in theta delta, they go into like a coma state.
Mm-hmm.
And in that state, we're able to replenish and nurture our bodies. So in the same way, we're able to replenish and nurture our emotions and our brain and our mind and our thoughts when we sleep. Now, sometimes we have nightmares because we're discharging a lot of stress. But besides that positive aspect that every, sleep studies and all the scientific world and the worlds of neuroscience say it's absolutely essential that we go into this theta state at least 3 times a night, else we'll begin to become psychotic and unable to cope with the stress of our everyday life.
Now, Asara, you're speaking about being in theta during sleep, but you said that when we choose to do it, we're doing it in a conscious state. How do we accomplish that? Is it through meditation? I'm not sure how we actually achieve a sleep state while we're awake.
When we're in that theta state at sleep and we're in that rapid eye movement, what happens is our eyes go back and forth and they're discharging. That's why it's called rapid eye movement. But they also roll up underneath our closed eyelids, and we only have the whites of our eyes showing. So when we're asleep every night, our eyes roll up underneath our closed eyelids, and that's part of that deep access to the theta state. So in the 6-step process, one of the steps is to actually look up underneath your closed eyelids and then extend that consciousness up, out, and do a little visualization. And then with your eyes rolled up underneath your closed eyelids, you're going to make a statement, which is called the command. When you command in that state of theta, you are now directly talking to your subconscious mind. So you don't have to go into wanting to attract something. You literally are creating a new idea in your brain. You're literally creating a new idea in your nervous system and in the cells of your body and in the DNA itself. And as thought creates our reality, we now have implemented a new thought that is inviting a new reality. So that sounds kind of esoteric. So let me do it on a personal level with you, Joan. What is something you'd like to create for yourself that you don't have yet?
I think I would like to create more of a sense of peace in my life.
Okay.
Because I'm a very type A type of person, and
okay.
I would like to be able to allow myself to be more peaceful.
Okay, great. All right, so you've noticed what it is that you don't like. So the way that we make a change is to identify a thought, a feeling, or an idea in us that causes us, like you said, lack of happiness or lack of satisfaction, or incomplete sense of not getting what we want in the world. So you'd like to have more joy in your life. All right, now the command starts out with, I don't know how I have more joy in my life. I only know I do now, and I'm fulfilled. So when we say, I don't know how, just close your eyes for a minute. You're not driving, right?
No.
If you're driving out there, don't try this and you're listening. Okay, but if you're not driving, go ahead. You guys can play along with this. So close your eyes for a minute and think a negative thought. And think, oh, I'm type A, I'm stressed out, I never relax. For you, because that's your thought. And then immediately right next to it, mentally say to yourself, I don't know how. Okay, just open your eyes. So what did you notice when you mentally said, I don't know how?
I actually opened my eyes and I had this feeling of calm for a split second. It was almost like a little wavy kind of feeling.
Yes, exactly. So this whole technique came to me in a complete download when I was in the theta state. So the explanation of why you start with I don't know how is because neurologically our beta mind, which is what we're talking in beta, we think in beta, our beta mind is our ordinary consciousness, our everyday awake consciousness, our logical thinking mind. But that part of our brain that is the beta mind is the stress type A driver. In our beta mind, we are always comparing, contrasting, looking from the past and projecting to the future, and we're never experiencing a now moment. So part of the demands of our society today are that we are supposed to have an instant answer to everything. I've got a problem. I got to get better. I have to have more joy. Well, that is a demand. The beta mind is going to be the squirrel in the cage that goes, how do I get it? How do I get it? When can I have it? How do you quiet that mind without having to go into 30 years of meditation, of figuring out how to release stress in your mind? You can do it by consciously shifting your brain patterns in a moment. You shift your brain pattern by saying, I don't know how. Now, the beta mind does not comprehend that. So in this day and age, we're supposed to be so smart. We're supposed to show up so often that we can have an immediate response to any thought, idea, or question. And biologically, we're not designed that way. We are not designed to be able to have that beta mind, our logical thinking part of ourselves, give us answers that will bring us joy, happiness, satisfaction, and even success. And so we work really hard trying to force that part of our intelligence to provide for us information that literally it doesn't have.
We need to take a break at this point, and we're going to let our listeners process what we've been talking about. And so we're going to take a break for this week's Good Life Tips. Stay with us for information to help you make the positive life changes that we talk about in this show. Welcome back to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman, and our guest today is Asara Lovejoy, author of the book, The One Command, 6 Steps to Attract Wealth with the Power of Your Mind. Asara, before break, you were explaining to us how we can transfer our mind into the theta state. And how do we actually know that we're operating in the theta state, that we've achieved what we're trying to do?
When we go through the 6 steps and we go into this theta state, we literally, in that moment, shift everything in our body as if we were in deep sleep. And when we come back, when I say when you open your eyes, when you're back in beta mind, the first thing that everybody says is, I am so much more relaxed and peaceful. And that even if the rest of the idea that I'm sharing with you doesn't make any sense, using this 6-step technique, which only takes like 5 to 10 minutes, when you're first learning, and you can do it in 3 minutes after you learn how to do it, well, you can shift your state of your mind, of your fear, of your concern, of your anxiety, of your lack of trust in yourself to make good decisions, of your negative thinking in a second, in a moment. You can interrupt that negative thought and allow allow yourself to come into what I call is your greater intelligence. That's you. Because literally you have cells of your brains, cells of your body and your intelligence, and portions of your mind that has the solutions to knowing what it feels like to be in joy and to be relaxed. It has solutions to your financial wealth. It's your intelligence already having the answers to your life's problems, and you can't access, you haven't opened the telephone line and called up that part of your mind to give you the answers because you never have been exposed to the knowledge that you could do it. So this is like a wonderful technique for these times that we're living in right now, because as we're in a fast-paced society with lots of demands, this technique is a fast-paced technique to make quick changes that are real physical, neurological, biological changes. So when you shift a thought, feeling, or an idea while you're in the theta mind, you literally are speaking to that repository of your core beliefs about reality. So just quickly, the law of attraction, positive affirmations are supposed to help you change your unconscious patterns of your mind. Now, in the one command, you are literally biologically disengaging past negative pathways in which you've entangled your brain and your mind with a thought that you repeat over and over again. You literally open the synapses and stop and pause the connection between that old thought. That's all it takes to disengage a thought that you've had 100 million times in your life of feeling not worthy of something, of feeling that the world opposes you or that you can't have what you want. And now you command for what you want instead. I don't know how I am peaceful and joy, and I experience joy in my everyday life. I don't know how I receive the good that I want joyfully, peacefully, and I enjoy my mind, I enjoy the way in which I think, and I find it stress-free. You know, these are all ideas of things you could command to say, you know what, my type A personality's got a lot of benefits. I don't want to give up the benefits of my type A personality, but I want to add to it.
So very quickly, before we run out of time, tell us what the 6 steps are.
They're based on just the practical, pragmatic steps of making a state change in your mind, in your brain. So the first one is to ground. You're going to ground your body, come into your body, be in your body. Then you're going to bring your energy into your heart. You're going to align what you want, experiencing joy in your heart. The third step is you're going to look up underneath your closed eyelids. That's going into theta. Then you're going to move your consciousness up through a little guided meditation into a state where you're out in space. That's what happens in people in the laboratory when they're describing their state of being in theta. And then you're going to command with your eyes up, and then you're going to expand into an idea that's greater, that serves a greater good, and you're going to come back down into your body and unwind your DNA, let it go with the old idea, and rewind it with a new idea. And all of these are states that we go through in that theta state when we're sleeping at night that have been chunked down so that you can go through those states easily while you're awake. Now, one of the reasons why this is so effective is that as a child in the womb and until 5 or 6 years old, the predominant brainwave that we all are discovering life and creating our basic baseline ideas about reality is the theta brain state. So the basic ideas of what we've decided about life are all decided, 98% of them are decided by the time we're 5 years old. And so we're overcoming unconscious beliefs that were established when we were powerless, little, and at the effect of others. And that's the struggle that everybody is going through in their life, is to overcome those early childhood circumstances. So this is a way to disengage those ideas and to bring in the ideas that also coincide but are not the predominant ideas within us of our ability to be joyful, to be relaxed, to be rich, to have a creative idea. So what happens as a consequence of doing this process? Number one, people report, 100% of the people report, I'm more relaxed, I'm more peaceful, I'm have feeling better even when I still have a problem. I'm feeling like I'm confident about I can find an answer to the problem rather than frantic. Number two, when you do this process, you're shifting into a new field of consciousness that you can only create an experience that you yourself are processing in your internal processor of your mind, your body, and your biology. and that when you shift your internal processor, you literally open a whole new field, a whole new possible world that now your mind can perceive. So your mind could not perceive being relaxed and joyful until you literally command that you know that. Now you've now given a directory to your own unconscious programming saying, oh, I didn't realize that that was something I could value, was to be joyful. I didn't realize. Now that I do realize that, now it's my job. Just like my job right now is to, really be concerned and drive myself. Now my job is to really enjoy being joyful. Oh, hey, okay, that's part of my program now. I am joyful. So when you say, how do you create riches with your mind, now you shift into a new program in your mind of, I don't know how, because we don't, our beta mind doesn't know, I don't know how I increase my income or I enjoy a rich life that I have now. Some people that are very wealthy are still miserable. So they want to shift into enjoying the riches that they have and not being afraid that they're going to lose it. You need to sometimes change your ceiling of what you can accept.
The book is The One Command, 6 Steps to Attract Wealth with the Power of Your Mind by Asara Lovejoy. If you'd like more information, you can visit asara.com, asara.com, commandingwealth.com, or as always, you can visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on our site, read the digital magazine, listen to past shows as podcasts, take part in our book club, sign up for the mailing list, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter.
Thank you so much for letting me spend some time with you and your listeners. I appreciate your contribution you're making to changing our world right now. This is what we need. We need all the help we can get on making good choices for our future.
Well, thank you for saying that, and thank you for being here. This is Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.